Hello students, in today's class we will solve NCERT exemplar problems from 1.23 to 1.35 of the chapter Units and Measurement. Disclaimer: the images, text and other materials used in our presentations are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So our question is, a function f of theta is defined as f of theta is equal to 1 minus theta plus theta square divided by 2 factorial minus theta cube divided by 3 factorial plus theta raised to the power 4 divided by 4 factorial plus so on. Why is it necessary for theta to be a dimensionless quantity? So here you have to find out the reason. Think about it. So the function is given f of theta is equal to 1 minus theta plus theta square divided by 2 factorial minus theta cube divided by 3 factorial plus theta raised to the power 4 divided by 4 factorial plus so on. So this is given. Solution. Answer. In RHS side, right hand side, function is f of theta is equal to this one. So in RHS side is theta, theta square, theta cube, etc. are being added or subtracted. Look at here. Here added, this one being added, and here being subtracted. This one. If theta had any dimension, it will not possible, because we know theta is a dimensionless quantity. Because theta square will have squared dimension of theta, and in addition and subtraction all the elements should be of same dimension. So that's why is it necessary for theta to be a dimensionless quantity. Question is, why length, mass and time are chosen as base quantities in mechanics? You know, 7 type of base quantities or fundamental quantities. Think about it. So solution. Length, mass and time are chosen as base quantities in mechanics because length, mass and time cannot be derived from one another. That is, these quantities are independent. Length, mass and time are independent quantities. All other quantities in mechanics can expressed in terms of length, mass and time. Clear? Short answer type questions. This is not in our syllabus. This is just for knowledge. A is the Earth Moon distance is about 60 Earth radius. What will be the diameter of the Earth? Approximately in degrees, as seen from the Moon. B is Moon is seen to be of 1/2 degree diameter from the Earth. What must be the relative size compared to the Earth? C is from parallax measurement, the Sun is found to be at a distance of about 400 times the Earth Moon distance. Estimate the ratio of the Sun Earth diameters. So here you have to calculate or estimate the ratio of Sun Earth diameters. This is just for knowledge. So, solution, thinking process. To solve this question, we have to treat radius of Earth as an arc, as seen from the Moon. Here, we treated radius of Earth as arc. So, if we talk about the first statement, angle subtended at distance r due to an arc length L is, look at here, the Moon and Earth. The angle subtended at radius r due to an arc of length L. So theta is equal to L by r. Theta is equal to L by r. Here r is radius of Earth and the distance between center of the Moon and Earth is 60 RE, or we can say 60 times of radius of Earth. So here given that L is equal to RE, radius of Earth, or R is equal to 60 times of, small r is equal to 60 times of RE. So theta become arc upon radius. So it will be RE divided by 60 into RE. So it will be 1 by 60 radian. So in term of degree, it will be 1 divided by 60 into multiplied with 180 divided by pi. So here this is the conversion of radian to degree. If we want to convert 1 radian into degree, you need to multiply it with 1 by 80 divided by 180 divided by pi. So after calculation, it will be 3 by pi, which is approximately equal to 1 degree. Hence, angle subtended by diameter of the Earth is equal to 2 theta, and theta is equal to 1 degree. So it will be 2 degree. So if we talk about the statement B, given that Moon is seen as 1/2 degree diameter and Earth is seen as 2 degree diameter. Hence, diameter of Earth divided by diameter of Moon is equal to 4. So here diameter of Earth is 2 by pi radian and diameter of Moon is 1 by 2 pi radian. So diameter of Moon become diameter of the Earth divided by 4. So if we talk about the option statement C, from parallax measurement, this is not in our syllabus. So from parallax measurement, given that Sun is at a distance of about 400 times the Earth Moon distance, hence the ratio of their radius r divided by r moon is equal to 400. Suppose here r stands for distance and d for diameter. Sun and moon both appear to be of the angular diameter as seen from the earth. So it will be d sun divided by r sun is equal to d moon divided by r moon. So it will be d sun divided by d moon, diameter of sun divided by diameter of moon is equal to 400. But we know diameter of earth divided by diameter of moon is equal to 4. So it will be this one. Diameter of sun divided by diameter of earth is equal to 100. Which of the following time measuring devices is precise? Given reason for your answer. So there is some clock. Option A is a wall clock. Option B a stopwatch. Option C a digital watch. Option D an atomic clock. So here you have to find out the which one is the good measuring device or give most precise value. Think about it. So answer is D, an atomic clock. Solution. The most precise time measuring device among the options is provided is an atomic clock. It means atomic clock is a good measuring device which gives most precise calculation. If we talk about the wall clock, typically has a precision of seconds but can vary based on the mechanism like analog or digital. If we talk about the stopwatch, generally can measure time to the nearest hundredth of a second, making it more precise than a wall clock. It means stopwatch is much good as compared to wall clock. This digital watch usually offers precision similar to that of a stopwatch, often measuring time to the nearest second of hundredth of a second. So an atomic clock is a device which gives good precise value. So if we talk about the atomic clock, this is the most precise timekeeping device available, capable of measuring time with an accuracy of billionths of a second, or we can say nanoseconds or better. Atomic clocks are based on vibrations of atoms, usually cesium or rubidium, and are used as a standard for defining the second. So that's why we use atomic clock. Thus, the atomic clock is the most precise time measuring device among of the options listed. Clear? The distance of a galaxy is of the order of 10 raised to the power 25 meter. Calculate the order of the time taken by light to reach us from the galaxy. So here you have to find out the order of magnitude of time taken. Think about it. So solution. Given distance of galaxy is equal to 10 raised to the power 25 meter. Speed of light, we know that is 3 into 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. Hence, time taken by the light to reach us from galaxy is distance upon speed. So here distance is given and speed is also given. So just substitute, you will be get 10 raised to the power 25 divided by 3 into 10 raised to the power 8, which is approximately equal to 1 by 3 into 10 raised to the power 17. So solving this, you will be get 3.33 into 10 raised to the power 16 second. And in minute, it will be 5.55 into 10 raised to the power 14 minute. And if we talk about in hour, it will be 9.23 into 10 raised to the power 12. In days, it will be 3.86 into 10 raised to the power 11 days. And in years, it will be 1.06 into 10 raised to the power 9 years. The Vernier scale of a traveling microscope has 50 divisions which coincide with 49 main scale divisions. If each main scale division is 0.5 mm, calculate the minimum inaccuracy in the measurement of distance. Think about it. So, solution, thinking process. Inaccuracy will be measured by difference of MSD and VSD, where MSD means main scale division and VSD means Vernier scale division. By question, it is given that 50 VSD is equal to 49 MSD. So 1 MSD is equal to 50 divided by 49 VSD, or 1 VSD is equal to become 49 divided by 50 MSD. So if we want to calculate the minimum inaccuracy, it will be 1 MSD minus 1 VSD. So it will be 1 MSD minus 1 VSD is equal to this one, 49 divided by 50 MSD. So solving this, you will be get 1 by 50 MSD. So 1 MSD is equal to 0.5 mm. So minimum inaccuracy is equal to 1 by 50 into 0.5 mm is equal to 1 by 100 is equal to 0.01 mm. So this is just mathematical terms here. Clear? During a total solar ellipse, the moon almost entirely covers the sphere of the sun. Write the relation between distances and size of the sun and moon. So in this question, we have to find the relation between distances and size of the sun and moon. Think about it. So, solution. Here, we consider that RME is equal to distance of moon from earth and RSE equal to distance of sun from earth. RS is equal to radius of sun and RM is radius of moon. Let angle made by sun and moon is theta. So it will be this one. Theta is equal to arc by radius. So A divided by R square is equal to A divided by R square ME. This is for moon. So here A is equal to A sun is equal to area of sun, A moon is equal to area of the moon. So look at here, we have to find out the theta. So it will be this one, pi r square divided by r square. So solving this, you will be get rs divided by r se whole square equal to rm divided by rme whole square. So rs by rse is equal to rm divided by rme. So rs divided by rm is equal to rse divided by rme. Here radius of the sun and moon represents their size respectively. So relation is this one, using the concept of theta. So in this question asks about the distance and sizes of sun and moon. So this is the relation. Clear? If the units of force is 100 Newton, unit of length is 10 meter, and unit of time is 100 second, what is the unit of mass in this system of units? So here you have to find out the unit of mass. Think about it. This is very simple. So solution, thinking process. First we will write the dimension of each quantity and after that relate them. So dimension of force is equal to ml t raised to the power minus 2, and here the force is given 100 Newton. So let this is equation first, and length, the dimension is L, this is also given 10 meter. Let this is equation second. Time, dimension T, and it is given 100 second, and let this is equation third. Substituting values of L and T from equation second and third in equation first, we get a new relation. So just substitute second equation in first, third equation in first. So you will be get m into 10 into 100 raised to the power minus 2 is equal to 100. So it will be m into 10 divided by 100 into 100. Just solving this, you will be get 100. So m equal to 100 into 1000 kg. So m equal to 10 raised to the power 15 and 10 raised to the power 5 kg. Clear? Given example of option A is a physical quantity which has a unit but no dimension. Option B, a physical quantity which has neither unit nor dimensions. Option C, a constant which has a unit. Option D, a constant unit which has no unit. So here you have to find out the examples. Think about it. So if we talk about the option A, a physical quantity which has a unit but no dimensions, means you have to find out the a physical quantity with no dimensions but with unit. Solution. So plane angle, there is a unit, and that is radius, and plane angle is a dimensionless. its unit is a radian, but it has no dimensions. So it satisfies option A. If we talk about the option B, no unit and dimensionless. So strain is delta L by L. So delta L is change in length and L is length. So this is a second option. It has neither unit nor dimensions. If we talk about the option C, gravitational constant, the value is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. And D is Reynolds number. It is a constant which has no unit. Clear? Calculate the length of the arc of a circle of radius 31.0 centimeter, which subtends an angle of pi by 6 at the center. Think about it. So, solution. We know that angle theta is equal to L by R radian. So it will be theta is equal to pi by 6 is equal to L divided by 31 centimeter. So just substitute here. So this one, pi by 6 is equal to L by 31 centimeter. Given that here this one, and we have to find out the L. So it will be just cross multiply. You will be get 31 into pi by 6 centimeter equal to 31 into 3.14 divided by 6 centimeter. So after solving it, you will be get 16.22 centimeter. So rounding off three significant figures, it would be 16.2 centimeter. Clear? Calculate the solid angle subtended by the periphery of an area of 1 centimeter square at a point situated symmetrically at a distance of 5 centimeter from the area. So here you have to find out the solid angle. Think about it. So solution. We know that solid angle is equal to area upon distance square. So it will be area is 1 centimeter square and distance is 5 centimeter. So it will be 1 divided by 5 square. So 1 divided by 25. So solving this, you will be get 4 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 steradian. And area or distance is given. The important thing here is this: we should not confuse solid angle with plane angle. Solid angle is theta is equal to L by R radian, and plane angle is L by R radian, and solid angle is area upon distance square. So both are different. The displacement of a progressive wave is represented by y equal to a sine omega t minus kx, where x is the distance and t is time. Write the dimensional formula of omega and k. So here you have to find out the dimensional formula of omega and k. Think about it. So solution, thinking process. In solving these type of questions, we should apply principle of homogeneity of dimensions. We already learned it, principle of homogenization. Now by the principle of homogeneity, dimensions of LHS and RHS should be equal. Hence, LHS equal to RHS. So L equal to A. A is the amplitude. So the dimension is L. As omega t minus kx should be dimensionless. So dimension formula of omega t is equal to kx equal to 1. So it will be omega t equal to k, L equal to 1. So omega, dimension formula of omega is T inverse and dimension formula of K is L inverse. So this is very simple. Time for 20 oscillations of a pendulum is measured as T1 is equal to 39.6 second, T2 is equal to 39.9 second and T3 equal to 39.5 second. What is the precision in the measurements? What is the accuracy of the measurement? Think about it. So, solution, thinking process. We will apply formula for mean value, absolute error as well as mean absolute error. Answer, given that T1 is equal to 39.6 second and T2 equal to 39.9 second and T3 equal to 39.5 second. Least count of the measuring instrument is 0.1. As measurements have only one dimension places, so precision in measurement is equal to least count of measuring instrument, that is equal to 0.1 second. Mean value of time for 20 oscillations is given by this one, T equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3 divided by 3. So just substitute the value of T1, T2 and T3 and divide by 3. You will be get 39.7 second. So absolute error in the measurements, delta T1 is equal to T minus T1. So it will be 39.7 minus 39.6 is equal to 0.1 second. Delta T2 is equal to what? T minus T2 is equal to 39.7 minus 39.9 is equal to minus 0.2 second. And delta T3 equal to T minus T3 is equal to 39.7 minus 39.5 is equal to 0.2 second. So mean absolute error is equal to this one. This is the formula, delta mode of delta T1 plus mode of delta T2 plus mode of delta T3 divided by 3. So it will be 0.1 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 divided by 3. So just substitute the value 0.1, this 0.2 and 0.2. So you will be get 0.5 divided by 3. So it will be 0.17 approximately equal to 0.2, rounding off up to 1 decimal place. So accuracy of measurement is is equal to plus minus 0.2 second. Clear? Thank you for your attention.